not like I haven't spent all day with you or anything. Okay. Hello, welcome back to my channel. I'm Lena. This is Lena's Bookshelf, and today we're going to talk about all of my anticipated releases for the rest of this year. So I'm going to go month by month, starting with August, and we're just going to talk about the books that I am interested in, books that I'm thinking about picking up, or books that I am just intrigued by because of the author or because of the synopsis. So starting with August, we have Daisy Darker by Alice Feeney, and I've read some other Alice Feeney books and I have enjoyed most of them. I didn't like The Last Time I Lie, but I know that's a pretty unpopular opinion, but the other ones I did like. So with Daisy Darker, it looks like everybody goes to an island for a grandmother's 80th birthday party, and it sounds like very similar to Lucy Foley vibes. What is that book? The Guest List. The Guest List by Lucy Foley. Yeah, so they're all stuck on this island. It sounds like they're getting picked off one by one. So it doesn't sound like any sort of groundbreaking plot or anything, but I definitely enjoy Alice Feeney books, so I'm interested in that one. Next we have Stay Awake by Megan Goldin, and I've talked about this a little bit. I have read, I think, all of Megan Goldin's published works at this point, and I've really enjoyed all of them. So it sounds like this woman wakes up in a taxi and doesn't know where she is or how she got there, and the taxi drops her off at what used to be her apartment, but it looks like there's somebody else living in her apartment. And when she tries to reach for her phone to call for help, she finds a blood-stained knife. So it sounds like this deals with murder and with memory, so I'm very excited about that one. Next on the list, we have The Family Remains by Lisa Jewell, and I'm really just interested in this because it's the sequel to The Family Upstairs, and I read that one and it had some like cultish vibes, and it's probably my favorite Lisa Jewell that I've read this far. So I don't really know much of anything about this, and I don't really want to because I would rather go in not knowing much of anything. That way I can like compare it and see how it relates to The Family Upstairs. Next we have The Blame Game by Sandy Jones, and I've read two Sandy Jones. One of them I really enjoyed, and one of them I kind of soft DNF'd for now because I couldn't really get into it. But this one sounds super interesting because it's about a psychologist that specializes in domestic abuse, and she finds herself becoming overly invested in her clients' lives. So it sounds like she gets a little bit too involved. Maybe there's some obsession here. So it sounds really good, and the cover looks really cool too. It looks like maybe it's set on like an island or a beach or something. The next book I'm interested in is Runtime by Catherine Ryan Howard, and I read her book from last year, 56 Days, and I really enjoyed that one. So I don't really care what this is about. I just want to read it because I really enjoyed 56 Days, and I enjoyed Catherine Ryan Howard's writing style. But it sounds like it has something to do with a movie, like a psychological horror movie, and maybe its development. It's kind of vague. Next is I Remember You by Brian Freeman. I read a Brian Freeman book for the very first round of Thrill Till the Weekend, and I really enjoyed it. It was a little bit sci-fi, but not so much so that I felt like it was unrealistic. It sounds like somebody wakes up in the hospital, disoriented, and doesn't know where she is. Maybe she sounds like she can't remember where she is, and she gets a little paranoid, and she knows that mental illness runs in her family. So it sounds like, the synopsis sounds like what I wanted Insomnia by Sarah Pinborough to be, but that one was a huge disappointment. So that was all of the books I'm interested in for August. Now the only book in September that I was interested in is The Silent Woman by Minka Kent. And I've read one Minka Kent book and I really enjoyed it. So I'm interested in this one. It's about newlyweds, and I guess this man's first wife was in an accident, and I guess now this new wife is wondering if it was really an accident or if she was murdered. Again, the synopsis of this one is kind of vague. Moving on to October, we have Mad Honey by Jodi Picoult, and I've read almost everything by Jodi Picoult. There's only a couple of her titles that I haven't read, but this one, it sounds like it has something to do with a woman who lives in the New England area, and I guess her son's girlfriend turns up dead, and so they are questioning this woman's son. And it says it's a riveting novel of suspense, an unforgettable love story, and a moving and powerful exploration of the secrets we keep and the risks we take in order to become ourselves. So Jodi Picoult's synopses are always really vague. I always tell people, like, don't even bother reading them because they tell you absolutely nothing about the story. So I'm not really taking too much out of this. I'm just assuming it's going to be good because it's Jodi Picoult. Next, we have Poster Girl by Veronica Roth, and I'm really interested in this one because Veronica Roth wrote the Divergent series, and I really enjoy dystopian type of stories and dystopian type of world building. So this one sounds pretty similar, just like a girl in this post-apocalyptic world. And that's really all I care to know because I just know that I like dystopian worlds. Next, we have Such a Pretty Girl by T. Greenwood, and really the reason I'm interested in this is because T. Greenwood wrote one of my favorite books of the year, Keeping Lucy, and so it sounds like this is set in West Village, New York in the 70s. It sounds like this actress has a controversial photo that's released. Seems pretty hard-hitting, and it seems like it deals a little bit with sex trafficking and gaslighting. So I don't know, this one seems a little bit out of my comfort zone, but like I said, I'm willing to try it again because the author wrote a really awesome book before. Next, we have Keep It in the Family by John Mars. I've read 3 John Mars books. One I DNF'd, one I enjoyed, and one was just fine. So I am interested in this one because it does sound more like the type of thrillers that I enjoy reading. So it's kind of haunted house vibes. These newlyweds move into this home that they're trying to refurbish and make new again for themselves. And it sounds like a lot of traumatic things happen, and there's a lot of weird things and mysteries and secrets that they find in the attic. I struggle a little bit with John Mars' style of writing, but I am interested in trying this one. This might be my last attempt at John Mars though. Next, we're moving on to November, and we have The Prisoner by B.A. Paris. I am so excited for a new B.A. Paris release. I have read every release from B.A. Paris, and as you know, Behind Closed Doors is one of my favorite books of all time. It's probably my favorite thriller, and so I will read this. I don't even care what it's about. I'm just gonna read it. So it sounds like this woman lost her family as a child, and now she is married to a billionaire, and she is captured and wakes up in an empty dark room. So it sounds so similar to what B.A. Paris typically does. And then the last book that I'm going to talk about today is The Personal Assistant by Kimberly Bell. And I read a Kimberly Bell book and I really enjoyed it, so that's really why I'm interested in this. And this one again seems like it's a little bit out of my comfort zone. It's about a mommy blogger whose assistant goes missing. And then the last book that I'm going to talk about is by Greg Olson, and it's American Mother, the true story of a troubled family, motherhood, and the cyanide murders that shook the world. So this was based in 1986, and it's a true crime story, I guess. Greg Olson writes a lot of true crime. I recently read If You Tell by Greg Olson, and I really enjoyed that one. So it sounds like this one is going to be shocking, heartbreaking, disturbing, so I'm really interested in that one. Okay, that is all of the titles I am interested in between now and the end of the year. Let me know if you're anticipating any of these, or if there's any others that I didn't talk about today that you are wanting to pick up this year. Please hit that subscribe button. It really helps out my channel, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!